The following is a paid program. Advice and opinions expressed during the program are solely that of Heiar Insurance, not WBEV or Good Karma Brands. Amy Hudson here with you in the Summerland Furniture Studios and the Daily Dodge TV Studios. And if you can hear an extra big smile in my voice, because I can feel it, I can hear it, it's because Sandy Heiar with your Heiar Insurance team, yes, is with us here today. Raise the roof on Senior Solutions. Please check out the live stream at dailydodge.com because we are in the Daily Dodge TV Studios. And reach out with your questions. This is the time every week we set aside to help you with those big life things that need to be in order.
All that scary
stuff. It's scary planning for retirement. It's scary having to go on that Medicare journey, but it doesn't have to be.
There's a reason I'm still working.
That's right. You're needed. You're still standing just like Elton John. Our studio line number for your questions. Oh, let's see him. She's got some bling. Oh, my goodness. Oh, okay. So I was going to wait. You keep those on. I want to share the phone numbers. Now I'm being bossy and I'm pointing. 885-4446 is the studio line. And our text line is 887-9595. For those of you not checking out the live stream on dailydodge.com, you are missing out. Sandra has her best Elton John look going here with these beautiful glasses. And I wanted to take a moment to wish a very happy birthday to your mom. And were those awesome, happy?
I got these. We had a birthday party for her yesterday.
Oh my goodness.
A 96-year-old party. We had cake. We played a game.
That is wonderful. Yeah, tell us about the party and happy 96th birthday to your sweet mom. I've never had the chance to meet her, but I appreciate her because she gave us you and your wonderful family. And it's wonderful hearing updates about her, especially last time you were with us and you shared how well she is doing in her new home.
She likes it, but the bad thing is her hearing.
She
cannot hear, but she is enjoying it. And they did this little party, and they had square dancers come in. We watched square dancers for about an hour. And
so you didn't participate? You just watched?
No, I just watched. But and she could watch them dance, but she couldn't hear. So she couldn't hear the music. So I felt kind of bad about that. But afterwards, one of the dancers came over and asked me if I would like to take lessons because they're starting classes in September to January.
Is this the Swing and Beavers group?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so fill us in.
Look like maybe I could have those moves. But
should we take lessons together? When I was in middle school, so this was like, 1980, 81, 82, that was part of our phys ed program. We had to square dance, and that is traumatic when you are like 11 and 12, and you have to hold Eric Benchall's hand, and your hand is all sweaty, but he's the cutest boy at middle school. We wouldn't be like that if we took lessons now at the age we are, would we?
No, we'd want to hold that good-looking guy's hand, right?
We're not going to let it go. Oh, my goodness. Sandy Heiar with your Heiar Insurance team with us here today for Senior Solutions. We are streaming live on dailydodge.com because we're in the Daily Dodge TV studios and, of course, in the Summerland Furniture Studios. Again, our phone always open for your questions. If you need some advice, big grown-up stuff can be complicated, and we're thankful that the Heiar Insurance team is here to help us navigate through what we think is complicated, not for them because they're the experts. 885-4446 is our studio line number. And of course, you can also text in your questions at 887-9595. What kind of cake did you have at your mom's 96th birthday party?
I ordered a marble cake. I didn't know it. Like, I like chocolate, but I thought,
not everybody does, Sandy.
Not everybody does.
You're a good compromiser.
I know. I went with that, and I went with the whipped frosting.
Oh,
the real
that's
sugary
great.
Stuff. So yeah, everyone liked it. We did that at noon, and I thought her party was at noon. Well, here the square dancers were at 1, and then her party was actually at 3.
Oh my goodness, there's a lot happening.
That was a big day yesterday for me too.
So is Matt all wore out? Did he have too much fun at the birthday party?
Matt was working while I went to the birthday party, but I did talk to him. I talked to him many times throughout the day. But today he is up north golfing. It's a guy's weekend once a year. same weekend every year that I think they started doing this maybe 5 years ago.
Okay, that is really great. Good for them.
It is, and there's like 20 of them.
Oh my gosh.
And then, there's
They
always
take a bus up
add-ins and
there?
no, they take a caravan, and you should see my house. It looks like a used car lot because there's so many cars parked there. They must have all drove to my house.
You're like the park and ride
jumped,
place.
Yeah, that's what Blake said this morning because he has all the fencing guys there, and he's like, this is not a park and ride here.
Oh my gosh,
So I'm gonna have to talk to them next year.
I hope he has a wonderful weekend golfing with his friends. We certainly had fun last Friday at the Beaver Dam Country Club for.
I should have came up.
Oh, Sandy, next year it was our third annual Good Karma Brands John Moser Children's Radiothon. It's for the kids golf outing.
Yes.
We packed the place with golfers. A lot of folks came just to join us for dinner. That's where I saw you.
Yes.
And your family. That is such a beautiful space up there.
It is.
They are going to continue to do more work on the course, and some of the folks that I talked with had mentioned how it still has that cool vintage look about it, and they want to take it back really to that real vintage look. And I know that you and I are dangerous together. Would you like to know why?
Because we talked to the owner.
Yes. Oh my goodness. We are two
I'm
peas
like,
in a pod.
there he is, right there.
I know. And you're like, say something. And I'm like, Dax. And you're like, say it louder. And I'm like, Dax. And then he turned. And then, he came over. We had a great conversation. But
nice.
We were waiting. We really wanted to meet Dax. He's the owner now of the Beaver Dam Country Club. So I just got the biggest kick out of that. I thought about that on my way home. The food was really great, too.
The food was
Did you have the
awesome.
cheesecake? I should have had the cheesecake.
Yes, I did.
Oh, was it just as good as
Absolutely. That's always me. If there's cheesecake there, I don't care what kind, it's on my plate.
Because I had finished eating and the food was really good. And then I saw Wade and Sierra after you and I had talked. I was like, oh man, there's cheesecake there. And Wade's like, just put it on a napkin and take it out of here. I'm like, I can't do that. He's like, well, then
Why?
don't use a napkin. I can't
Put
do
it
that.
in your pocket.
But that was a lot of fun. But I thought about that. I was like, oh, wow. We could be rambunctious and have a lot of fun together. And that's what we do every time we get together on the air. But we also help people like you do at Heiar Insurance. And, the gentleman that I just had on Hometown Today from the Gathering Source, food pantry, more than a food pantry in Juneau, and just talking about the rising cost of so many things and what things cost. And I know that we would like to table for discussion. You would like to share some information regarding Medicare costs in 2024. What is happening? What people can expect? Because it is really hard when you're on a fixed income. I just came across a story earlier this week. A woman who was a retired school teacher. She actually had a pension. And she's been retired now for close to 30 years. And while the cost of everything else is going up, she's not getting a raise. Regarding her pension. And it's hard when you're on a fixed income and everything is rising. So any heads up that we can get is a good thing.
Well, I know because Social Security obviously is not going to keep up, with the cost of inflation. And the longer we're retired, the more money we're going to have put away because obviously, even if the people that are getting pensions, like my dad had a pension from John Deere. Mm-hmm. My mom never worked, so she had a very small Social Security, and then they had my dad's Social Security. And back then, you didn't really do any homework or a plan for retirement. You turned 62 and you started Social Security and you quit your job, right? You just retired.
Gosh, that sounds so scary.
I know.
You just quit your job.
And 62 these days is really young. I mean,
yeah, that's
people
not
are
too far
working
off from me.
Much later. So, I mean, obviously they did that, and you don't know how many years you're going to be retired. That's the biggie. And my dad was a month away from 98. Mm-hmm. So he was retired a long time. So in all those 30-some years, I mean, obviously things have gone up.
Yeah.
But you know what? His pension never changed. Social Security went up a tad, and back in those days, they didn't have 401s or IRAs or any of that. So you really had to adjust your living as time went on or try to put money away from your, put it in the bank from your current income. Yeah. Even though you're not working.
Well, and just hearing what this retired school teacher has done to accommodate that, her income not rising, but the cost of everything else, she's had to go without, like things, that may not be a big deal to everyone, but maybe she's not going to get her hair cut as often. She's not going to take a trip that's a few hours away. I love gardening. That is something that I really do enjoy. And they had a shot of her flower beds. She's not putting mulch or any of her flowers in. And it just made me sad, like all those little things that someone can really enjoy, how they have to go away because it's necessary to live, to buy food, to keep the heat on, to keep the lights on. And it really made me sad.
Well, and then what about the people that health dictates? All of a sudden, they're retired way before they were planning on it and trying to live off of what they have.
Yeah.
So those are situations where it can be a really big deal.
Yeah, that's
health,
a big...
And you can't work any longer, and you weren't planning on that.
And
Or
not
you
prepared.
lose a spouse, so you're losing one income. I mean, we work with a lot of people that all of a sudden there's only one income, so they lose a Social Security. So let's say the Social Security they're losing is $1,000 a month. Can you imagine right now just having $1,000 a month taken away from you, and you still have the same bills?
No, that's really terrifying, actually.
And that's a lot of money. It's a big deal. I mean, even if your Social Security is $800. Granted, now we're seeing much higher Social Security than we saw, 15, 20 years ago. But well, I guess Matt wasn't there then. He was still running around the house getting in trouble.
Now he's just running around his own house getting in trouble.
Now he's chasing after his boys. But
yes, that is a full-time job right there.
oh, and he knows that too, especially now that they're in sports and everything. I hope I'm turning this right. I'm trying to find on my computer. I lost my internet here.
Oh, no.
I know.
Here, you can you take my rig, and you can, if you know the site, you can try to bring it up on this one here. And then I have something really personal to ask of you.
On the air?
On the air. Would you please hand me your reading glasses?
These?
Yes. They're lovely, but I'd like you to hand them to me for just a moment,
You're
please.
going to clean them?
No, I'm going to take your sticker off. And I will lower. Right, we're the same prescription.
Oh,
these are awesome.
But then I need to know all my passwords and stuff.
Oh,
I know.
Okay. I've never paused to think about someone having to retire due to a health issue. And that is certainly something that is unexpected, much like someone losing a spouse.
Yes.
And yeah, if you're not, how do you be prepared for either of those situations? But, thinking of, all of a sudden someone's not feeling well, or they have a health scare and find out that they have something that's debilitating and going to prevent them from being able to make the living that they're used to. What happens?
Well, when we build a retirement plan, we do try to build it with one income and one spouse, because we know eventually at some point in time. Now, we're guessing at what age that's going to be. I mean, I think we usually do it between 70 and 75. We'll go down to one income and figure out, how that single spouse is going to live. And if it's not until 80, that's fine. But if it's at 60, we just have to do the best we can, because we can't predict the future, just like we can't control our estate from the grave. I mean, we can try, with our kids and stuff, it's like, but it's just impossible. So there is some guesswork in it.
Yeah, those unknowns. Senior Solutions here on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge. We are also in the Daily Dodge TV studios
desktop.
as we stream live at dailydodge.com. Justin the Ninja Wilski.
Ninja was just going to
right
rescue
there.
me, but I saved them all on my desktop. I just didn't know where they were because I have so much on my desktop. But obviously, I put my glasses on and brought it up after Amy took the sticker off for me.
Fantastic. That's what friends are for. MVP Jill is at the ready at the Heiar Insurance Office in the Heritage Mall in Beaver Dam. What number can folks ring up the Heiar Insurance Office at to maybe set that initial appointment or set an appointment to take a look at what they currently have in the mix for themselves?
Okay. Hello, Jill. It's 920-887-0580. I know she's always listening at the office, so feel free to reach out to her with questions, or if you would like to make an appointment, or if you would like a call back after the show. If you're like me, a lot of people do not like to call into the show.
Yeah, they're scared, a little nervous about being on the air. They can certainly call the Heiar office direct, and also they can text in if they don't want to have their voice on the air. Our text line is 887-9595, and Sandy's certainly happy to answer your questions that way. And our studio line, 885-4446.
I did lose it again, Amy.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, okay,
I'm
so
sorry.
what I did bring up is I brought up the preventative, and I have something on diabetes. Okay. So about what Medicare covers for, there's a lot of diabetes these days.
Well,
a lot.
the cost of insulin here in the States seems to cost more than anywhere else.
True. And that's why, for years, I remember years ago when the Part Ds first came out.
D is for drugs.
D is for drugs. Good job.
Thank you.
And the drug plans then, when you got into that coverage gap or that donut hole, you paid 100% of your expensive meds.
Oh, my gosh.
Which meant insulin. So I would have clients come in saying, I'm not taking it. I can't afford it. I'm like, you could die.
Yeah, you can't not take it.
No.
What a horrible choice to have to make.
I know. Then they found they would go to Canada and get them because they could afford to get them and pay a lot less for those vials of insulin.
We still have not received a good explanation as to why folks can cross that border into Canada or go the other way and get the same medication that can cost sometimes, 3 or more times.
And we know when diabetes is left untreated,
it's basically a death sentence.
Yes, a lot can happen. I had a grandfather, and they started out removing a toe, and then it was his foot, and then it was his leg. Because back in that day, it wasn't, I don't want to say as popular, but it wasn't as, you didn't know what to do and how to treat it and, exactly what was going on. So it just kept getting worse and worse, and eventually he passed away from it. Now it can be very treatable, and now we know about diet.
Right.
You cut things out of your diet.
Exercise benefits.
Yes, and you just take care of yourself. And I am probably one of the worst ones. Hopefully I never get diabetes because I have no discipline when it comes to my diet.
Like the cheesecake?
Like the cheesecake.
Okay.
Like McDonald's. And I do not eat McDonald's a lot, but when I do, I'll say to myself, okay, I'm just getting a Big Mac, no fries. And I get up there and I'm like, I'll have a number 3. I'm like, what?
I've never had a
and then
Big
I'm like,
Mac.
You have never had a Big Mac?
I've never had a Big Mac. And a couple summers ago, I had the girls, my daughters, in the car, and we stopped at a McDonald's because I am addicted to the frozen Coke. And I thought,
Frozen Coke?
I'm gonna have a Big Mac. So I ordered whatever that meal is that you like. It must have been one of those. And so I set everything on the passenger side in the front seat. I don't like eating in the car, and we are heading out of the McDonald's in Mayville, and I'm looking both ways, and then I go to leave, and then I slammed on the brake. Everything, all the food flew right out of the bag, and my Big Mac went on the floor, and I thought, I don't ever need one. It's not meant for me, Sandy.
Well, and they're pretty, there's a lot of sauce and stuff on there. I'm sure that would have been pretty messy.
Hey, you know what? I've got something for you. When we were talking, I got the sauce. When we were talking about your diet and how you have no discipline, you love those Big Macs. One of my favorite meals that my husband makes is the Big Mac salad. So it's ground beef and everything that you would have, on a Big Mac, including the secret special sauce, which we all know is Thousand Island dressing.
But there's something else with it, because I do not like Thousand Island. I do not like it, so there's other things in there.
I'll get you that recipe for the Big Mac salad. This is a paid program. Advice and opinions expressed during the program are solely that of Heiar Insurance, not WBEV or Good Karma Brands. All right.
You ready for the
I'm
Medicare
ready.
Premiums and deductibles?
I don't know. Are we? You have a smile on, so
yeah,
I hope it's good news.
Because I'm on it, so this is me. So it's a good refresher for me because
right.
obviously it comes out of your Social Security or comes out of your checking. You don't pay attention. You don't know your deductible from year to year. So it's always good to do a little bit of a refresher from 23 to 24 for people going on Medicare, people already on Medicare, as me.
Congratulations, by the way. How's your journey going so far?
It was a struggle. I see why people have issues when they first go on, especially like I stayed on my group plan, but it becomes secondary. So it's not like a supplement that fills in the gaps of Medicare. They don't coordinate as well.
Okay.
Because Medicare is designed to be primary, and so is our group health insurance.
Okay.
So I thought I was going to get better coverage when I went on Medicare. Well, no, I think I have worse coverage because now I have Medicare's deductible and then my higher deductible for my health insurance.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Well, it's all how they coordinate. Years ago, they coordinated very well. I mean, whatever your first insurance didn't pay, your second one did, no matter what. If you had 2 group plans, whatever.
Well, that worked well together. Why did they stop doing that? Was it too expensive?
I don't know if they felt like double payment.
Okay.
But a lot of employers, if your spouse is offered group coverage, they won't even let you be on their plan.
Oh my goodness.
It's really gotten a lot stricter lately, or in the last probably, 5-6 years. I say 5 or 6, it could be 10.
So don't quote her on that.
Time goes so fast. I mean,
it does.
I can't believe I've been doing this. When did I start? 99.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
But it's like anything else. You get your license and it's like, all right, I got my license. I can sell insurance. How do I do that? And what do I do? And where do I go? And, just like I'm sure these college graduates, they graduate, they get out of college, and they're like, okay, now I'm going to get a job, but I really don't have the experience. I remember the kids saying, that they were nervous about what kind of job to do because they really didn't learn a job. Mm-hmm. They got the education and the diploma.
Yeah, it's a different skill set. Yeah, you just have to merge. Get in there and go like you did after you got your insurance license.
No, it's a lot of phone calls and a lot of, figuring life out. Well, and plus, there's many things you can do, with an insurance license. And plus, do I get my property and casualty license, which I took the class and never did because I thought the Medicare situation kept me so busy. There is no way I think I could add another arrow in my quiver. More in my portfolio because this is constantly changing, yearly, and they just keep adding more and more things to the Medicare profile. So I just stuck with this, and this is where I am.
That's great because you are, along with the Heiar Insurance team, such a go-to resource, like really so top of mind when people need help with this because you do make it easy to navigate.
Well, I wouldn't know how people would ever keep up with this on their own. Because, even when you get a letter in the mail, like now I read the letters when I get them, I'm like, so what does this mean?
Even
what are they trying to say? Yes.
See, that says a lot right there.
And a lot of it's not even implemented for 3 years maybe after you get that letter. So when they get those letters, people think this is going to start like as of today. No, that's not how it works.
So when people get confused, you call Heiar Insurance.
And a lot of times we may not know the answers, but we will find them.
Good.
We have a lot of go-to people, and we have a great team that we work with. So
you really do.
You have to these days.
Yeah, you do.
We need a lot of teams. Okay, so Part A. Part A really doesn't have a premium. It does, but you've paid in all of your life, so you don't have to pay a Part A premium. So a lot of times people go on Part A when they're still working and turn 65. They just forego Part B because Part B is the one that has the premium. Okay. They also have deductibles, Part A deductible. So the Part A deductible for this year is like if you go into the hospital overnight. If you go into the hospital overnight, you're going to pay the first $1,632.
Will that be all?
That's like your copay.
$1,000. Okay, got it.
That's like your copay. Okay? And so then you're good for 60 days in the hospital after that deductible.
Okay.
Which when you think about it, it really isn't bad. I know it's a lot to dish out all at once.
But 60 days feels like a long time in the hospital, too. Like they would depending upon what's going on, but oftentimes they want to move you to a different facility if you require that much care.
Yes, or send you home after a day or two. I mean, they do not like to keep you there now. I realize that too. If you would happen to be there more than 60 days, which is pretty slim, but 61 to 90 days, you are going to pay $408, but that is a per day.
Oh, ouch.
So, if possible,
and that's not
you
a
really
fancy hotel. There's no spa
no,
involved.
it's all inclusive though. You get your meals.
There you
No
go.
cocktails
That's
though.
right.
But
No, definitely not.
But so yeah, that could be very costly. And then days 91 and beyond, you have an $816 a lifetime reserve that you can pull on. But beyond your lifetime reserve, you cover all the costs. So you don't want to ever get past your 90 days, you know. And I don't know of anyone in all my years of doing this that has, at least that they've contacted me because they've done it. I'm sure there's some that have.
How is a lifetime reserve defined? Is that like when starts with the first $1,000 deductible, or what does that mean? Lifetime reserve.
It's just a benefit that happens after 90 days, because really after 90 days they say you have no coverage, but then they say that there's $860 coinsurance for each day for your lifetime stay, which can be up to 90 days. So you could potentially get more with some coverage.
Okay. All right. That makes sense.
But that's a lifetime. You know, most benefits with Medicare or health insurance are not a lifetime benefit anymore, but that is.
Okay.
All right. So then you retire and you're going to go on your Part B Medicare.
B.
So, B as in boy. And
Okay.
that would be your anything outpatient. Your doctor, outpatient surgery, any type of labs, x-rays, anything like that would be considered, your outpatient. And for that is $174.70.
That's like your deductible for that.
That's your monthly premium.
Oh, you have to pay that every month?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And that is income based. So if you are in the higher income levels, you'll have what we call that IRMA, and that's that income based amount that you have to pay extra for if you are still working and make extra money. Well, it's household
goodness.
income too, so that doesn't help. If you have a spouse that's working, you can end up paying more than your $174.70 for your Part B premium.
See, there's so many things like on the list. That's why we got to make sure we're navigating this correctly.
Well, and it's all one year. So, then next year we have new amounts and new things happening. Usually the Part B premium doesn't go up a whole lot, but let's see, this year it went up almost $10, which is quite a bit. Mm-hmm. But the year before, I don't think it went up at all. So the way this works is if they can't raise your Part B premium unless they raise your Social Security. So the year we had no increase in Social Security, they couldn't raise the Part B premium.
All right. And then it kind of even Stevens out that way.
They wash it out, yes.
Yeah.
So if they raise it, you're most likely going to get an increase in
Don't
your
get
Part
too excited.
B. Yes, because they give it to you and they take it back, is the way it seems like it's been going.
Yeah.
So yeah, then when you go to the doctor, anything outpatient, the first $240 you pay out of pocket. Now people always ask me, so when I go to the doctor, I have to just give them $240? No. If your doctor's visit is $150 and whatever you owe that goes to deductible, then that's what you pay. So if your portion is $50, $100, that's what you pay.
Okay.
So you may or may not have to pay that full amount, and come January or whenever you go to the doctor.
All right, nice.
Yeah. So then after that nice. I know. And that's the same with, pretty much all of your deductibles. Everybody, panics because on the Affordable Care Act, your deductibles are like $9,000. So people are like, I have to pay the whole $9,000? Well, it just depends on what you have done.
Right.
And
yeah.
So because that would be a lot to dish out. And I'm sure a lot of the hospitals and facilities probably will do payment plans and things like that.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for someone.
I never thought. We should probably have somebody maybe from Marshfield Billing or something come on and just chat with us how things work and the insurance thing and like what the responsibilities are for a patient.
That would be a great discussion.
Yes, like we just had somebody that they said it wasn't going to be covered because they didn't get a pre-authorization. Well, usually the provider does that pre-auth, but maybe sometimes that's not the case, or who should be doing that, and we're working on it. So hopefully that will get, wiped out. But yeah, that's scary. All of a sudden you get a big bill in the mail because it says you didn't have pre-authorization.
Yeah, and most likely you could try to appeal that, but that would be a big process, and you're depending on that big system behind the curtain to get that pre-authorization, to insurance, and for everybody to follow through in a timely manner for all those things to come together. And when you find out like that, that is very unfortunate.
I know. Have you ever had to have something that required a pre-auth?
Yes, actually, a couple of years ago, I was waiting for something to be authorized by my insurance company. I have advanced arthritis in my knees and started to become really painful a couple of years ago to the point where I needed treatment for it. And, try a couple things, they're not working. And then I was going to have these fancy gel injections in my knee, and the medication had to be pre-authorized by my insurance company.
Now, did you know that, or did the doctor's office tell you that? Or the
doctor's office told me that, and they told me it would be taken care of in a timely manner. And after waiting a couple of weeks and not hearing anything, I had called my insurance company and learned that they never received the information from my providers. So that led to a call to my provider, and that led to another phone call. And then my pharmacy had to get involved, and a representative from the drug plan. And I ended up on a big conference call between the insurance company. There was a provider on the call, and then we learned where all of this could be sent to. They wanted to ship the medication to my home, and I was like, no, I don't think so. Then we had to have another call, and after all of this running around, it was finally taken care of. But it really was close to an hour, if not more, on the phone, and all of that. And I found out how inexpensive the medication is. I needed 3 treatments. Medication was right around $20. Awesome. But to have it injected, over $1,000.
Yes.
But that was a painful part of the process to get there. And also wanting to have a knee replacement, you need pre-authorization from the insurance company to do that. And I was told a couple of years ago I'm too young. So woo!
You are young to have knee replacements. Because how long do they last, I guess, these days?
Hopefully about 20 years, 15 to 20 years. And because of my age, they don't want to have to do it twice. I understand that bottom line and the dollars. But I was, and it's not funny, but I was joking with my provider and my husband. It's should I send them a video of how I'm walking? Because that's not fun.
So you feel like you really need it now?
Yeah, not so much at this moment in time, because I've lost some weight and feeling better. It takes that pressure off. But that you feel helpless in that type of a situation where you're relying on someone, stuff doesn't get to where it needs to be. Sometimes stuff just gets lost in the process in translation. And what really matters is helping the person who needs help. So, yeah, what do you do?
So if we had somebody from the hospital tell us how to maneuver these things and what our responsibility as an office is and what the patient's responsibility is and how to know what to do, I think that would be very beneficial because it would save a lot of headaches. Even though you can get a problem solved in the long run, it may take how long to get it done? We skipped the disclaimer.
Oh, I did it actually while you were looking for stuff. I did it at the bottom of the hour. I checked that off the list.
Okay. We
are in compliance, Sandy Heiar.
No problems.
Sandy Heiar with your Heiar Insurance team with us today for Senior Solutions. We are live from the Daily Dodge TV studios, streaming at dailydodge.com, and of course the Slumberland Furniture Studios. Phone lines open for you at 885-4446, and you can also text us at 887-9595.
Okay, so back to your Medicare premiums, the $174.70, but if you make extra money, so if your income as a single is $103 or less, you don't have that extra. If it's over that, you can pay $245 up to almost $600.
$245 to $600. Okay.
Yes, for the Part B.
Okay.
And now this does not include your drug plan. This does not include your supplement plan. This is just for your Part B. And you have the same benefits no matter what. It's just that the premiums, they made it income based, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago they decided that if you're a higher income in retirement that you should pay more for your B.
Okay.
And there's a lot of surprises in that when people you retire or go on Medicare, they might be self-employed or still working and they still have income coming in or a fair amount of income. And if you have two people working, you can get to over the 103,000 and all of a sudden you get a letter in the mail saying you have an IRMA and they had no clue. Wow. That's when we get the phone call and they're like, Sandy, you told us. Well, I didn't know what your income was. I guess we don't ask everybody that goes on Medicare what their income is, but unless they share.
For folks that don't know, I just love that acronym IRMA. What is that? What does that stand for?
That is the monthly income adjustment for if you're a higher income for your Part B, and it's also for Part D as in dog as well.
Got it.
So you can have a premium of $50 and you can end up paying up to $81 more on top of your monthly premium. All depends on your income. We have had people like maybe sell a farm, sell a business, and then all of a sudden
it bumps up?
Yep.
Okay.
Usually just for that year, but now sometimes it might be on a land contract. So you have the income coming in for 5 years or 10 years. See, so
those details are so very important, and that everything that you just shared there speaks to the importance and the urgency of being completely transparent. It's really hard to share all of these personal details, especially regarding income and health and things like that, but necessary because you can't hide this stuff.
It's all part
Matt
of
always
your
talks
retirement.
about like how the government, they'll find it.
That's right. They know.
Yeah.
Believe me, even if we've had people where they didn't realize what they made, or were going to make in retirement. So these amounts go back 2 years.
Okay.
So for 24, they're looking at your 22 income. A lot of times people will be like, well, this isn't my income. Well, here 2 years ago I sold some land, but they don't think about that. That's why if you come in ahead of time and we do some planning about your income, or if you're going to sell some land and things, we can
work it in.
We can kind of figure it out a little bit more. The same with income-based health insurance. The Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act is income-based as well. Okay. So we like to see people prior. Maybe we'll take money out of a 401 or IRA the year before they retire, and let that go and use that money to pay premiums until they go on Medicare.
Yeah, there's options.
There are options, and we can try to save you money, keep money in your account if we know ahead of time. I mean, I know not always that happens, especially if it's with health or, you lose your job all of a sudden, then we work with what we have. But if you know ahead of time and you have a retirement date set, you're going to go on something that's going to be income-based, just call us and we can, kind of walk you through it, and maybe there's answers and maybe it's just what it is.
Yeah, but having someone to help walk a person through it means everything. And what is the number at the Heiar Insurance Office where MVP Jill is standing by, ready to take those calls?
It is 920-887-0580. I hesitated because I'm like, I started giving my cell number. I'm like, don't call me yet. I know. It's just a habit. When someone asks for your number, you give your cell number out.
Yeah.
And actually, our office number used to be my home number.
I remember you sharing that.
Because I worked from home. So then when I got the office, it's like, okay, now what do you do? Start a new number? No, we'll just move that. So we would get people calling from home. We'd get people calling from for fencing because that was the number we had for everything. So, I mean, it's gradually dwindled, but I remember hearing the office girls taking messages for fencing and calling the boys and telling them.
Hey, that's good teamwork right there. That's what it's all about.
Like, it's not fencing, but we can get you there. So anyway, so don't be surprised if there is an IRMA involved, but if you want to know ahead of time, come in ahead of time. Otherwise, they will just send you that letter after you go on Medicare Part B because they don't look at it until then.
Okay.
So that's all good stuff, right?
Wow, that's a lot of stuff. And again, so nice that when people are taking a look at things like that and trying to get their brains around it and understanding, just call Heiar if you're struggling. Seriously.
Well, and then, there's all of this, but then there's also if you don't take your Medicare out or your Part D at the right time,
Okay.
then there's penalties through the government. for those
Lifetime
things.
penalties.
Lifetime penalties. Everything's a lifetime penalty with the government.
That
so
doesn't feel fair.
I know, and because a lot of times it's a lack of knowledge. Like
Yeah.
somebody goes on disability. They don't know what they're supposed to do. They really don't explain it very well in letters saying, okay, this is what you need to do. If you do not have group coverage, you need to go on this. So we've had people on disability that end up with some penalties or they kept their card and they didn't need it because they're on a group plan, so they're paying the $175 a month and they don't need it.
That's unfortunate.
Because Medicare is not really designed to be secondary. I mean, you can keep it, but whoever's working, that group plan is primary no matter what. So Medicare's second. So you're not going to probably get a lot of bang for your buck for $175 a month.
It's good to know because you can do other things with that $71 a month, you said.
I know. I always round up 174.70, but I always say 175. And we always have to remember that there are deductibles even with Medicare, just like our group plans. Not as large of a deductible as our group plans. I think mine is like $4,000 for our deductible. And so with Medicare, you have the Part A, $1,632, and Part B is $240. So $240 is not bad before you get outpatient coverage.
No, not at all.
And it only went up, let me see, what was it last year? $226. So it wasn't a huge jump for Part B.
No, it's not too dramatic.
No. And of course the drug plans are one-year contracts, so we never know what's going to transpire with them until October 1st.
Keeps it exciting, right?
It keeps it exciting, yes. And even though we take the classes and we get information, it's still subject to change up until the 1st of October.
It's a little maddening.
Well, that's why we can't share anything that we're taught at our classes or
Sure.
anything,
Might
because it
change.
might not be right, yes.
I can't believe how fast the show goes. We have really just a couple of minutes left. What else would you like to share before we have to wrap up? And I'm so thrilled that you're here with us today.
Well, I'm going to the Peony Festival.
Oh, yay! The fourth annual
Tomorrow.
Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival. Are you checking out the art market? There's so many things to check out.
Is there?
Yeah. Oh, my
Well, yeah, I'll
gosh.
check out everything. I haven't been down there.
Facebook, Wisconsin Arts. I almost made up a new word. Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival. You can get the rundown of all of the events. You can help to paint a tile for our hometown hero, John B. McKinstry. Stephen Bennett will be leading that session at the Beaver Dam. BDACT, Beaver Dam Area Community Theater. There are things happening all over the place. It's going to be a happening. What are you doing to celebrate? Are you going to the Ghost Story Festival tonight?
No. I did. Was it last year? I think I went. One year I went. Is that when we went to the History Museum?
Yeah,
And
the
yep, I
Dodge
did
County
that one
Historical
year.
Society.
That was good.
Yeah, that's happening tonight. They'll have their big lawn party there tomorrow. Whatever it is you choose to take fun in during the fourth annual Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival. Have a great time and be safe, Sandy Heiar.
Absolutely. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome. Share the number again at the Heiar Insurance Office.
Okie dokie. 920-887-0580. And everybody have a good weekend.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great to see you, Sandy. And we'll find out next week, right around 11:08, a couple minutes before we hit the air at 11:10, if Matt will be here.
Or I again, right?
This has been a paid program. Advice and opinions expressed during the program are solely that of Heiar Insurance, not WBEV or Good Karma Brands.